I want to talk for a few minutes about the economic situation. We're at a critical moment in the history of the single European currency. You remember that almost 20 years ago now, a big debate started in Britain about whether we should join the single currency. I was strongly opposed to Britain abandoning the pound. I opposed and resisted the adoption of the euro in Britain with a group of, I suppose, maybe 30, 40 other economists. We had a lot of help from a number of rebel Conservative MPs. This is a great achievement of the Eurosceptic cause. We kept the pound. We kept the pound. And we see the benefits of that today. The Eurozone is a dreadful mess. The worst problems are in some countries, if you like, on the fringes of the Eurozone, so-called Club Med, Portugal, Italy, Spain, Greece, but also actually Ireland. I'll come and talk about Ireland in a second. Portugal, Italy, Greece, Spain, pigs, that's the way they were, rather unfortunate expressions be used to describe them, but they have indeed got a very serious problem coming up because they're finding it very difficult to stay inside the Eurozone on the present terms. The bond markets don't trust them. Their government debt therefore yields, in the case of the Greek government, an interest rate that's 8% or even 9% higher than German government debt, and paying the interest on that debt in future years will itself be a huge burden on the Greek taxpayer. It's likely to cause the Greek government to default. It's also likely to cause Greece to leave the Eurozone. And once one country leaves the Eurozone, the definition of the euro is affected. What is the meaning of all these contracts if they bring back the drachma? What is the meaning of all these contracts in euros? Are they drachma contracts or whatever? What about these bank deposits? Are they drachma deposits or euro deposits if you hold some money in a bank account in Athens? Huge problems. Problems that we have avoided by staying outside the Eurozone. In Ireland, they too have had these difficulties with their banking system. In fact, because banks since 2007 have had difficulty funding themselves in the market, they've relied very heavily on funding from central banks. And in the Irish case, this is funding from the European Central Bank. If you can believe it, roughly half of the borrowings of the Irish banking system are from the European Central Bank, and that in turn is roughly half of Ireland's GDP. And because of that, the Irish cannot resist the pressure from the European authorities to control public spending, get their budget deficit down, and Ireland is in the throes of a terrible recession. I say recession, but we could even say depression. Output has fallen by almost 20% from its peak. Construction output is about half what it was only 3 years ago. Imagine what that means in terms of demand for plumbers, bricklayers, electricians, and so on. There's high unemployment, there's disappointment, there's bankruptcies, there's much terrible hardship and misery that really could have been avoided if they'd had more appropriate economic policies of the kind that Britain's been able to pursue because it's not a member of the Eurozone. The larger message here is that we don't have to link ourselves up with these European projects to remain a prosperous and free nation. I can remember 20 years ago in all those debates with a variety of people, I think about Chris Huhne and John Stevens and people like that, where we were told that if we didn't join the Eurozone, we'd be condemning ourselves to marginalization in Europe, relative poverty, etc., etc. Nonsense. And those are the kind of people who today say that it would be a mistake for Britain to leave the European Union. No. Britain would benefit from leaving the European Union. We were right to stay outside the Eurozone and not to adopt the single currency. We will be right now to leave the European Union and pursue a prosperous economic future for ourselves with our own policies, using our own institutions, and instead of being bullied by foreign bureaucrats. Thank you very much.